I don't hate them, I just feel better when they're not around. Sometimes you climb out of bed in the morning and you think, I'm not going to make it, but you laugh inside, remembering all the times you felt that way. We're all going to die, all of us, what a circus. That alone should make us love each other, but it doesn't. We are terrorized and flattened by trivialities, we are eaten up by nothing. The problem with the world is that the intelligent people are full of doubts, while the stupid ones are full of confidence. That's the problem with drinking, I thought, as I poured myself a drink. If something bad happens, you drink in an attempt to forget. If something good happens, you drink in order to celebrate, and if nothing happens, you drink to make something happen. We are like roses that have never bothered to bloom, when we should have bloomed, and it is as if the sun has become disgusted with waiting. What matters most is how well you walk through the fire. Thanks for watching. For more interesting videos, kindly subscribe. The problem was you had to keep choosing between one evil or another, and no matter what you chose, they sliced a little bit more off you, until there was nothing left. At the age of 25 most people were finished. A whole goddamned nation of assholes driving automobiles, eating, having babies, doing everything in the worst way possible, like voting for the presidential candidates who reminded them most of themselves. I had no interests. I had no interest in anything. I had no idea how I was going to escape. At least the others had some taste for life. They seemed to understand something that I didn't understand. Maybe I was lacking. It was possible. I often felt inferior. I just wanted to get away from them. But there was no place to go. I wasn't a misanthrope and I wasn't a misogynist, but I liked being alone. It felt good to sit alone in a small space and smoke and drink. I had always been good company for myself. Yes, when God created love he didn't help most. When God created dogs he didn't help dogs. When God created plants that was average. When God created hate we had a standard utility. When God created me he created me. When God created the monkey he was asleep. When he created the giraffe he was drunk. When he created narcotics he was high. And when he created suicide he was low. When he created you lying in bed, he knew what he was doing. He was drunk and he was high. And he created the mountains and the sea and fire at the same time. He made some mistakes. But when he created you lying in bed, he came all over his blessed universe. The area dividing the brain and the soul is affected in many ways by experience. Some lose all mind and become soul, insane. Some lose all soul and become mind, intellectual. Some lose both and become accepted. Thanks for watching. For more interesting updates kindly subscribe. Two things are infinite, the universe and human stupidity, and I'm not sure about the universe. There are only two ways to live your life. One is as though nothing is a miracle. The other is as though everything is a miracle. I am enough of an artist to draw freely upon my imagination. Imagination is more important than knowledge. Knowledge is limited. Imagination encircles the world. If you can't explain it to a 6-year-old, you don't understand it yourself. If you want your children to be intelligent, read them fairy tales. If you want them to be more intelligent, read them more fairy tales. Logic will get you from A to Z, imagination will get you everywhere. Life is like riding a bicycle. To keep your balance, you must keep moving. Anyone who has never made a mistake, has never tried anything new. I speak to everyone in the same way, whether he is the garbage man, or the president of the university. When you are courting a nice girl, an hour seems like a second. When you sit on a red-hot cinder, a second seems like an hour. That's relativity. A clever person solves a problem. A wise person avoids it. Science without religion is lame, religion without science is blind. Any fool can know. The point is to understand. Reality is merely an illusion, albeit a very persistent one. If we knew what it was we were doing, it would not be called research, would it? A human being is a part of the whole called by us universe, a part limited in time and space. He experiences himself, his thoughts and feeling as something separated from the rest, a kind of optical delusion of his consciousness. This delusion is a kind of prison for us, restricting us to our personal desires and to affection for a few persons nearest to us. Our task must be to free ourselves from this prison, by widening our circle of compassion to embrace all living creatures and the whole of nature in its beauty. The important thing is not to stop questioning. Curiosity has its own reason for existence. One cannot help but be in awe when he contemplates the mysteries of eternity, of life, of the marvelous structure of reality. It is enough if one tries merely to comprehend a little of this mystery each day. The world as we have created it is a process of our thinking. It cannot be changed without changing our thinking. Thanks for watching. For more interesting updates, kindly subscribe. Women always worry about things that men forget, men always worry about things women remember. A woman is always right, but sometimes, confused or maybe misinformed or rude, or stubborn or senseless, or unchangeable, about her opinions or even downright, stupid at times but never wrong. She is always right. The woman who follows the crowd will usually go no further than the crowd. The woman who walks alone is likely to find herself in places no one has ever been before. A human being is a part of the whole called by us universe, a part limited in time and space. He experiences himself, his thoughts and feeling as something separated from the rest, a kind of optical delusion of his consciousness. This delusion is a kind of prison for us, restricting us to our personal desires and to affection for a few persons nearest to us. Our task must be to free ourselves from this prison by widening our circle of compassion to embrace all living creatures and the whole of nature in its beauty. The world is a dangerous place to live, not because of the people who are evil, but because of the people who don't do anything about it. If A is a success in life, then A equals X plus Y plus Z. Work is X, Y is play, and Z is keeping your mouth shut. It would be possible to describe everything scientifically, but it would make no sense. It would be without meaning, as if you described a Beethoven symphony as a variation of wave pressure. My religion consists of a humble admiration of the illimitable superior spirit who reveals himself in the slight details we are able to perceive with our frail and feeble mind. Honestly, I cannot understand what people mean when they talk about the freedom of the human will. I have a feeling, for instance, that I will something or other, but what relation this has with freedom I cannot understand at all. I feel that I will to light my pipe and I do it, but how can I connect this up with the idea of freedom? What is behind the act of willing to light the pipe? Another act of willing? Schopenhauer once said, Der Mensch kann was will, kann aber nicht wollen was will, man can do what he will but he cannot will what he wills. I am not more gifted than the average human being. If you know anything about history, you would know that is so. What hard times I had in studying and the fact that I do not have a memory like some other people do. I am just more curious than the average person and I will not give up on a problem until I have found the proper solution. This is one of my greatest satisfactions in life, solving problems, and the harder they are, the more satisfaction do I get out of them. Maybe you could consider me a bit more patient in continuing with my problem than is the average human being. Now, if you understand what I have just told you, You see that it is not a matter of being more gifted but a matter of being more curious and maybe more patient until you solve a problem. To sense that behind anything that can be experienced there is a something that our mind cannot grasp and whose beauty and sublimity reaches us only indirectly and as a feeble reflection, this is religiousness. In this sense I am religious. This topic brings me to that worst outcrop of herd life, the military system, which I abhor. This plague spot of civilization ought to be abolished with all possible speed. Heroism on command, senseless violence, and all the loathsome nonsense that goes by the name of patriotism, how passionately I hate them. Bear in mind that the wonderful things you learn in your schools are the work of many generations. All this is put in your hands as your inheritance in order that you may receive it, honor it, add to it, and one day faithfully hand it on to your children. Albert Einstein said, "The man who regards his own life, and that of his fellow creatures, as meaningless is not merely unfortunate but almost disqualified for life." Albert Einstein, The World as I See It. Thanks for watching. For more interesting videos kindly subscribe. One of the strongest motives that lead men to art and science is escape from everyday life, with its painful crudity and hopeless dreariness, from the fetters of one's own ever-shifting desires. A finely tempered nature longs to escape from the personal life into the world of objective perception and thought. The intellect has little to do on the road to discovery. There comes a leap in consciousness, call it intuition or what you will, the solution comes to you and you don't know how or why. My pacifism is an instinctive feeling, a feeling that possesses me because the murder of men is disgusting. My attitude is not derived from any intellectual theory, but is based on my deepest antipathy to every kind of cruelty and hatred. Creating a new theory is not like destroying an old barn and erecting a skyscraper in its place. It is rather like climbing a mountain, gaining new and wider views, discovering unexpected connections between our starting points and its rich environment. But the point from which we started out still exists and can be seen, although it appears smaller, and forms a tiny part of our broad view gained by the mastery of the obstacles on our adventurous way up. If the bee disappeared off the surface of the globe, then man would have only 4 years of life left. No more bees, no more pollination, no more plants, no more animals, no more man. Concerning matter, we have been all wrong. What we have called matter is energy, whose vibration has been so lowered as to be perceptible to the senses. There is no matter. Thanks for watching. For more interesting videos, kindly subscribe. I greet you all in the name of peace, democracy and freedom for all. I stand here before you not as a prophet, but as a humble servant of you, the people. Your tireless and heroic sacrifices have made it possible for me to be here today. I therefore place the remaining years of my life in your hands. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. It is in your hands to make a better world for all who live in it. A winner is a dreamer who never gives up. What counts in life is not the mere fact that we have lived. It is what difference we have made to the lives of others about what they do. Nothing's impossible. It always seems impossible until it is done. Lead from the back. Lead from the back, and let others believe they are in front. Exercise. I have always believed exercise is a key, not only to physical health, but to peace of mind. Make a difference. What counts in life is not the mere fact that we have lived. It is what difference we have made to the lives of others that will determine the significance of the life we lead. Be optimistic. I am fundamentally an optimist. Part of being optimistic is keeping one's head pointed toward the sun, one's feet moving forward. There were many dark moments when my faith in humanity was sorely tested, but I would not, and could not, give myself up to despair. That way lays defeat and death. Learn and teach. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. Make mistakes. Do not judge me by my successes, judge me by how many times I fell down and got back up again. Don't waste time. We must use time wisely, and forever realize that the time is always ripe to do right. Choose your friends wisely. I like friends who have independent minds, because they tend to make you see problems from all angles. Love others. No one is born hating another person because of the color of his skin, or his background, or his religion. People must learn to hate, and if they can learn to hate, they can be taught to love, for love comes more naturally to the human heart than its opposite. Thanks for watching. For more interesting videos, kindly subscribe. People always live forever when there is an annuity to be paid them. It isn't what we say or think that defines us, but what we do. Muhammad Ali Jinnah was the founder and first Governor-General, 1947-48 of Pakistan. He is revered as the father of Pakistan. He also sought the political union of Hindus and Muslims, which earned him the title of the best ambassador of Hindu-Muslim unity. His famous 14 points. Keep watching. Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah said, "The form of the future constitution should be federal, with the residuary powers to be vested in the provinces. A uniform measure of autonomy shall be granted to all provinces. All legislature in the country, and other elected bodies, shall be constituted on the definite principle of adequate and effective representation of minorities in every province, without reducing the majority in any province to a minority, or even equality. In the central legislature, Muslim representation shall not be less than 1/3. Representation of communal groups shall continue to be by separate electorates, provided that it shall be open to any community, at any time, to abandon its separate electorate in favor of joint electorate. Any territorial redistribution that might, at any time, be necessary, shall not, in any way affect the Muslim majority in the Punjab, Bengal, and the NWFP.